Today's objective is perimeter word problems. So here's our first problem. We've already done a few of these, so this is a little bit of a review, but I still want to go over every single step with you. A rectangle's length is 3 less than 3 times its width. The perimeter is 42 inches. Find the dimensions of the rectangle. So I want to underline that the length is 3 less than 3 times the width. Perimeter is 42 inches. And dimensions means the length and the width. Okay? So in these problems, 99.9% of the time, I always tell you more about the length. So we can generalize and say we always start out with our let statements defining our variables. Let W equal width. Okay? These are not two variable problems. It's one variable, okay? Let W equal width. And now I need to write the length is 3 less than 3 times the width. Well, we know if it's 3 less than, that it's going to be subtract 3. So 3 times the width minus 3, that's 3 less than the 3 times the width. That's our length, okay? This is always the formula for the perimeter that I'd like you to use. 2 times the width plus 2 times the length equals the perimeter. I need you to write out the words, not just put the letters, okay? Because we have the words written here. Now we substitute. So remember, in the verbal model, the words come after the equal sign, and in the algebraic model, this comes before the equal sign. So I'm going to carry down my 2 and substitute in the W, because that's what width is, plus carry down the 2, go back to my let statement and see what the length is, times the quantity, 3W minus 3. Remember, anytime there's more than one term in the quantity, we have to put in a parentheses. This is a perfect example. Why? Because if we didn't, we wouldn't do the distributive property and then we'd be wrong. And the perimeter comes from the problem, okay, 42 inches. Now we're going to simplify and combine like terms. So 2W plus 6W minus 6 equals 42. Now you can never start moving things from one side of the equal sign to the other until you've combined like terms. So you can only have 2 terms here max. So 2W plus 6W is 8W minus 6 equals 42. Now I do the inverse of addition or subtraction first, always. So this says subtract 6, so I'm going to add 6 on both sides of my equation, which leaves me with 8 times W equals 48. Now this is the step that you can do in your head if you'd like. If you think 8 times what is 48? 6, then W equals 6 inches. Okay, we just know W. What's W? W is our width. Our length, we come back here, is 3 times W minus 3. So I'm going to say 3 times 6 minus 3, which is 18 minus 3, which is 15. Now, if I want to check this, I can go up here and I can say, if I have my width plus my length, that's 21. Okay? If you think about it, that represents that much of my rectangle. Okay? If I want to get the rest of my rectangle, I can just multiply it by 2. So if I do 21 times 2 equals 42, and that's what my perimeter was, so I know I'm right. And then we write a sentence, our final step. We say the width is 6 inches and the length is 15, because that's what we just figured out. So these problems we did before with when they were just combining like terms, when we didn't have to do the distributive property. That's why we're doing these again, because now they're multi-step problems. One more example. The length of a rectangle is 7 centimeters more than its width. If the perimeter is 186 centimeters, find the dimensions. Okay? So I have a red pen, so it's not going to show up as much. But the length is 7 centimeters more than the width. So I'm going to underline that. And the perimeter is 186 centimeters. So here we go. We always start with, on the perimeter problems, let W equal width. And go back to your problem and see how we've defined the length. 7 more than. So you know that has to come at the end, the plus 7. So W plus 7 is the length. This is your verbal model, always. 2 times the width plus 2 times the length equals the perimeter. Now we go and fill in our width and length variables. So 2 times W, because that's the width, plus 2 times W plus 7, because that's what we said the length is going to be, equals 186, because that's the perimeter and that comes from our problem. Now let's do the distributive property. Carry down the 2W. 2 times W is 2W. 2 times 7 is 14. Carry down the equals 186. Combine our like terms. 4W plus 14 equals 186. Do the inverse operation, so we subtract 14 from both sides. And then we get 4W equals 172. Divide both sides by 4. 4 goes into 17 4 times. With 1 left over, 4 goes into 12 3 times. So W width is 43 centimeters. Now if I go back up to my let statements, I see that W plus 7 is the length, so I wrote it down here. So if I said 43 plus 7, I get 50, so that's my length. And if I were going to check that, I could say 43 plus 50 equals 93. So that's this much of my rectangle. And if I want to complete my rectangle, I need to double it. So if I do 93 times 2, I get 186. And that's what my perimeter was. So I finally write a sentence. The width is 43 centimeters and the length is 50 centimeters. And that's all there, excuse me, that's all there is to solving perimeter problems that are multi-step. That's it.